Jerry, I'm telling you, you're not coming to my prom dance. It's too risky. You're 38 years old. Get it through your head. You're on primetime television. You're not coming to the Skylark High prom dance. Babe, that's sick and twisted. And then she checks her little dainty watch because it's the early 90s and she's got a curfew. People really like to get hung up on that fact that Jerry Seinfeld had a relationship with a 17-year-old at 38 years old. That is strange. It's really strange, but I think we all spiral out of control every now and again. And I know whenever I'm in a rut, I'm like, where's the closest fucking high school? It's not a crime to look, god damn it. But you got to understand, in the 90s there wasn't a whole lot to do. We didn't have websites, and we didn't have hard drives we could store child pornography. So you actually had to, whether you were an A-lister on primetime television or not, you had to actually go out and turn harboring experiences. You had to actually do it in real life. I think maybe the parents thought it was weird. I can't speak on the situation other than just use my imagination. The parents are okay with it because it's fucking A-list celebrity, primetime television comedian Jerry Seinfeld in their living room. I understand your daughter's hot, but you put out good taste. You don't acquire it. This living room is so disgusting. That couch is dated by 2 decades. Why are we in a sunken living room? I'm putting my reputation, and one day phones are going to be a thing, and this is all going to fucking bite me in the ass every 6 months of my life until I die. But that's how much I think your daughter's sopping wet, illegal, I guess barely legal if I can fight it in court, and statutory rape can work in my favor. But let's just, for the sake of argument, call it illegal. I hope her sopping wet illegal pussy is so worth it to spend 2 minutes of small talk in your sunken living room. Yeah, I'll have your daughter home by midnight. But I'll tell you what, if I can probably give you an autographed headshot if you want to plead for 130. I'm a man of Porsches and they're not the quietest cars. So I hope I don't wake you. What do you do in that situation? Not that I want to try to get the juices flowing and come up with a foolproof plan on how to successfully fuck a 17-year-old while simultaneously being a very recognizable face on primetime television as a comedian. Everybody can recognize you, and that's an issue with fame. They recognize you. They might not know you, but they recognize you. If you go to these high society things, there's people like, oh shit, there's Jerry Seinfeld with Junior in high school, jerking him off underneath that corner booth. He got a corner booth for two on a Friday night. He's taking up real estate. How much did he pay? How much did he slip the waiter and host, manager? How much did he do that to make up for the amount of plates not being sold at that big corner booth where he has a high school cheerleading journalist touching wood underneath the table at this restaurant? But then again, speaking of harboring pedophilia behavior, they probably didn't bat an eye. Oh, I guess everyone's cool with my 38-year-old boyfriend. Maybe I look older. Now that's not a true nod of confidence. Now it's hurting the 17-year-old. You got to understand the stresses of even a 20-year-old and a 38-year-old that are different. Their lives are a little different. So they might stress about things that the other person wouldn't think of. And so when this woman's, oh, babe, I really do got to stay in tonight. I got to knock out a chunk of this book report. And then Jerry, being the observationist he says, book reporting. Now that's a dying art. It's alive and well. It just exists through grades K through 12 and college, I suppose, in ways. No, Jerry, you did that 2 decades prior, and now your girlfriend's doing it. It's not a dying art. It's still around. I pulled up some information, and Seinfeld tries to defend on Howard Stern. We didn't date. We just went out to a restaurant and it was nice. And that's what anybody who put their cock inside of a 17-year-old probably would say. He goes out with her while she's 17, goes out on a date, and then it cools down because everyone's, what the fuck was Jerry Seinfeld just with a 17-year-old point guard from a private school in Manhattan? Everything kind of calms down, but then she enrolls into George Washington University, and then he sends her the "you up" text, and they start going out. And then the parents really were cool with Jerry Seinfeld, probably because of what I alluded to at the beginning of the episode. Is they're like, oh my god, we got Jerry Seinfeld in our sunken living room. We don't even care that he's about to do acts of depravity to our daughter, which can be just as simple as putting his arm around her. He's got her on his arm at the set of Seinfeld. So I guess he's popping in at George Washington University. People started to recognize his limousine outside of her luxury apartment. Her parents, respectfully, are like, we're on a first name basis with Jerry Seinfeld because we let him fuck our daughter. We let Jerry Seinfeld groom our daughter, and in return, we're on a first name basis with Jerry Seinfeld. Now, it sounds like they already have money sending their daughter to private school where she plays soccer and basketball. Sounds like they got a little bit of money. The greed is real. Here, kid, I'll feed you. He just deflects the whole grooming thing. Oh, you mean the age thing? Quit being so traditional. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I give you great entertainment for 22 minutes out of the week. The least you could do is let me fuck a 17-year-old who's now 18, may I add. I'm technically not doing anything illegal. It was just hand stuff. And say we did do something illegal. I have a couple of Jewish lawyers that would love and happily say age of consent. Lucky number 17. The big observation guy. I never cared for statutory rape. I'm impeachable. Oh, I'm Seinfeld. Babe, it's a scent. Now give me your fresh virgin pussy. You're 18 now. It's cool. It was cool back then when we were doing hand stuff. When I was begging you to take me to the prom. But you're a freshman in high school. Grooming scandals aren't even going to be a scandal for another 25 years, babe. It's okay. I gave your parents another 100. They said you could stay the night. It's okay. Now, I'm going to give you some walking around money, and you're going to buy something very nice. I'm taking you to Florida where I'm going to do a black tie event, and you're going to meet my mother, who's widowed, because she was probably groomed too. It's just a vicious cycle. It's never ending. You're in it. You're in it for life, babe. Now, of course, Jerry Seinfeld's spiraling out of control. Seinfeld has some sort of chip on his shoulder. Listen to him give comedy advice. It's very like one track mind, old school of thought, and that's just who he is. He probably had that before the money, and now he has it during the money, and now he's catching a high school girls varsity basketball game. He sees the point guard coming off the bench, and he said, I'm going to get her out of that cheap jersey and put her in sexy dresses, and she's going to undress for me. And her parents are going to be cool with it because I'm going to sign scripts of Seinfeld, and they can resell Seinfeld memorabilia. And it doesn't even matter if they're not cool with that. As long as she's cool with it, age of consent. It's all in my favor. Is it a little hairy? Sure. Is he spiraling? It doesn't rub me the right way. But it happened. And the most we can do is just hope that this woman wanted to lose her virginity to Jerry Seinfeld. It's gross. He got away with it. Everything was in his favor. It is weird, but we gotta move on, guys. You have a family member that has fucked a 17-year-old. Maybe even younger. I'm sure I do as well. Those are the people we should be lynching. Jerry Seinfeld gave us 2 through 6 was peak Seinfeld. I saw something the other day. They're like, Seinfeld's not as good as you think it was. And I rewatch it twice a year. Are you fucking kidding me? It's amazing. I love the show. 2 years ago, I would never dare talk about Seinfeld like this because of my comedic aspirations. I just don't give a shit anymore. I like the guy. I be cordial with him and in the back of my mind say, oh boy, one day my sister's gonna be 17 and there's always gonna be a Jerry Seinfeld with a pulse. And he probably drinks baby blood to maintain himself. And he started a family with somebody more of age. So that was the end result. It was a moment where he was spiraling. Yes, bad, but it happened. Spiraling, not grooming. And then he did groom, but it fizzled out. He's being held somewhat accountable for it. I'm sure as time goes on, he doesn't want to talk about it, and that makes sense. He has a family, he has children that are in college. It's all just a blip in the past. But then there's including me egging it on, but doing it in a lighthearted manner. And then there's people like you where they're like, you find out that, and you're like, he is officially doxxed from my mind. I'm not ever going to talk positively about Jerry Seinfeld again. That's not okay. If you're going to continue to be cordial with your cousin who probably fucked a 16-year-old at Thanksgiving or during the holidays, you got to give Jerry Seinfeld some benefit of the doubt. And plus, the woman was probably, the girl really, was probably a little enticed by celebrity status. You take a guy that looks like Seinfeld but doesn't have the money, she's not banging that guy. I don't know if they banged. It's a happier ending if they banged. And he got away with it. That's the only way this makes sense. And that's the only way we move away from it. Nonetheless, stop blowing up Seinfeld and stop calling him a groomer and a rapist and the age difference. Stop doing that and pay more attention to my social media. Afternoon Glory across all social media. If you're more interested in just the guy that talks into the microphone, Josh M. Glore, across all social media. And check out the Clips channel, guys, where I have clips of the podcast. Technically not yet, but they're coming. I'm scraping together some. The podcast is also on there, full length episodes. It's audio only, but it is on there. Take a break from your Seinfeld cork board with the red string and show Shawana or whatever the hell her name was and blow up my shit. And I think we'll all move forward. All right, guys. See you next time.